Hello everyone and welcome back to Football Forecast, and today's we'll be discussing the Chelsea-Arsenal League Cup game where Arsenal have won 3-2, and where I'm going to start from this game is talking about my 5 key talking points. So the first thing I want to talk about is Arsenal, and as I've already said, Arsenal put 3 goals past Chelsea, and the goal that I want to talk about is the set piece once again. Arsenal scoring another set piece, and it's a good delivery and a good header from Ben White. And Arsenal had chances throughout the game to score from these set pieces. They also scored 2 open play goals. And I have no problem with Arsenal scoring set pieces as long as it wins them games and trophies, which it did today. That's my overall thoughts about it. When I can be critical of it is when Arsenal at points can be over-reliant in it. But as long as they're scoring from goals and as long as they're winning games, I have no problem with it. It's amazing how consistent they are from those set pieces, and they could have scored more from them. They had some other chances to score from set pieces throughout this game. And that brings me on to my second talking point, which is Robert Sanchez. He was absolutely terrible in today's game. And Sanchez has actually been good so far this season, I'd say, overall. But the problem with Sanchez, and the problem with keepers like Sanchez, is the fact that he's inconsistent. And it's not what you want to get from a keeper. You don't want your keeper to be able to make those sort of mistakes. What you want from a keeper is a consistent performer who ideally just gives you at least a 7 out of 10 every game. This was not a 7 out of 10. This was an awful performance. He has to do way better on the corner that Ben White scores from the set piece. He's just flapping at it. It's absolutely shocking. And the second goal is even worse. He palms it into Victor Gyökeres, and Victor Gyökeres simply puts the ball in the back of the net. Terrible keeping. It should have been incredibly simple, and he should never made a mistake from that situation. And that is the problem with Sanchez. He can be a decent keeper, but at points he makes terrible mistakes, and he's done that today, and it has completely cost him in today's game. The third goal we couldn't do anything about. It was a really good finish from Zubimendi, but Sanchez was continuously making mistakes throughout this game, playing out from the back. He was nowhere near good enough, and he's cost Liam Rosinha. Which brings me on to my third point, which is about Liam Rosinha. And I think there's some positives and some negatives to take from Liam Rosinha's performance today as manager. This was his first big game in charge of Chelsea. First of all, I don't think he quite has the defenders and so some of the midfielders to play out from the back to the extent he wants to do. As I already said, Sanchez is very mistake prone. I think the defence, being very young, felt under pressure today with the amount he was demanding. And this gave Arsenal some chances because of this, and some unforced errors definitely cost Chelsea in today's game. And I think that's something Rosinha has to look at. Can Chelsea play out from the back right now? Because as well as sort of he may not have the resources or the players to do this at a sort of high level, it's also very difficult to play out from the back in the Premier League where you're playing a side like Arsenal, because when they press, they're very difficult to play through. In fairness to Rosinha, though, they got rewards when they did manage to play through the press. And I actually thought Chelsea actually played well in today's game. They created quite a few chances and had some good chances on the break. And I think Rosinha deserves credit for this because Chelsea needed to go with the attacking mindset, in my opinion, in today's game, being the home side for the first leg. And he did do this. And Chelsea played well, I thought, in parts of this game, despite having a lot of injuries and players out. Caicedo being out was a big problem. Obviously, Cole, who I've already discussed, being out for this season. Cole Palmer being out, injured, as well as Reece James and Gusto both being out, meaning Achimpong had to start at right back. So we had plenty of injuries to deal with in this game. And this brings me on to my fourth point, which is about the Chelsea wingers, an area where I've been really critical of Chelsea so far this season. But I thought today they played well. I thought Esteval was lively. He was a threat throughout in today's game. And I think he proved why he should be starting for Chelsea. Neto was all right when he started. He eventually moved to more central positions. And I thought Garnacho was excellent for Chelsea off the left, scoring 2 goals, obviously. The second goal was actually a brilliant volley. And I think that's positive signs for Chelsea, considering how much money they've actually spent in these winger positions. So that brings me on to the last point. Are Chelsea out of this tie? No, I don't think they are. I still think they have a chance away at the Emirates, but it's incredibly unlikely. I think Chelsea needed at least a draw, but some positive signs for Chelsea is the fact they should have their players back for that game. And when Chelsea have their players back, they can be a lot more of a dangerous side than what they showed in today's game. And Chelsea managed to stay in the tie. I don't think a lot of people expected Chelsea to only lose by 1 goal, especially if you watched the first 60 minutes where it looked like Arsenal were piling on the pressure and going to put more than 2 goals past Chelsea, but they didn't manage to do this. They led by 2 goals at points in the game. So I think Arteta may be slightly disappointed the fact that they're not more goals in front, but overall he will be happy and he'll definitely back his side to defend the lead at the Emirates, which I do expect Arsenal to do now. They're a very good defensive side and I think they will be able to do this. But positives for Liam Rosenior, they are well and truly still in the League Cup semi-final, thanks to Garnacho's 2 goals in the second half. And I think there's more positives for Chelsea because they could look back at this tie and go, we could have had a lead going into the Emirates, but it's because of Sanchez's 2 errors was the main reason why that didn't happen. So there's definitely positives to take for Chelsea from the performance. So then we've got the player rating, starting off with Chelsea. Sanchez in goal, I'm going to give him a 2. Absolutely shocking on the first goal and even worse on the second goal and really cost his side overall. So then we've got Acheampong. I'm going to give Acheampong a 5. He was alright today, not his worst performance, but probably could have been better. Fofana and Chalobah, I'm going to give them both 4s. I thought they were pretty poor in today's game, pretty wasteful as well with their passing. Chalobah and Fofana, I also thought they weren't great in today's game. I'm going to give them a 5. Then we've got Cucurella, I'm also going to give him a 5. I just thought that whole defence was average, wasn't good enough in today's game, but definitely Sanchez was the main reason why Chelsea are currently losing the tie. Andre Santos in midfield, I thought he was alright today. I'm going to give him a 6. Then we've got Enzo Fernandez. I thought Arsenal's midfield was better in today's game, but I thought Enzo Fernandez was alright. I'm going to give him a 6.5. João Pedro, I'm going to give João Pedro a 5, an alright performance from João Pedro. Estevao, I'm going to give Estevao an 8. I thought he was lively throughout. Then we've got Estevao. I thought he was probably Chelsea's best player apart from Garnacho. I'm going to give Estevao a 7.5. And Neto, I thought he was good today. I'm going to give him a 6. Got the assist to get Chelsea back into the game through the Garnacho goal. Mark Gui up front, realistically, he's just not good enough to play for Chelsea. I'm going to give him a 4. And finally, Garnacho, who was the main sub I'm going to talk about off the bench, I'm going to give Garnacho an 8. Massive credit. He got Chelsea back into the game. And then we've got Liam Rosenior. I'm going to give him a 6. I think there's some positives and negatives to take from this. Chelsea had a lot of injuries, and I've already dealt with that well. Some individual errors cost him in this game. And Chelsea looked lively in a threat up front, so I think he can deserve a decent rating. So then we've got the Arsenal player rating, starting off with Kepa, and I'm going to give Kepa a 5. Then we've got Ben White. Ben White scored, and I thought he was good today. I'm going to give him an 8. Saliba and Gabriel, I'm going to give them both 7. Solid performance from them. And Yorin Timber at left back, I'm going to give Timber a 6. I thought Estevao had the better of him overall in today's game. Estevao, though, however, never came up with sort of a goal or an assist, so I don't think it was a terrible performance from Yorin Timber. Zubimendi, I thought Zubimendi was good today, and he scored. I'm going to give him a 7. Declan Rice, I'm going to give him a 7 as well. I thought both of them were good today. Then we've got Bukayo Saka, I'm going to give him a 6.5, and so as Trossard, just decent performances. And I am going to give some credit to Victor Gyökeres up front today. I thought he was actually quite good. Got an assist, his link-up play was better, and overall, he actually got involved with the game, and he did score. It was a bit of a charity goal, though. I am going to give Gyökeres a 7. A decent performance from Victor Gyökeres, a better performance than what we have seen from him so far. I still don't think he's good enough to be Arsenal's number 9. And I'd still rather have Havertz up front over Gyökeres, but anyway, he was alright today. And then Arteta, I'm going to give Arteta an 8, a solid away performance. I think he may be slightly disappointed the fact that they're only 1 goal ahead of Chelsea going into the second leg. But if you offered him a away win at Stamford Bridge, he 100% would have taken that. And overall, I think he did a good job as manager of Arsenal today. Let me know your thoughts on this game and the player ratings. And if you enjoyed this video, go subscribe to the channel as well as liking the video.